So there's 700 grams of that. I'm going to start mixing this up. This is to evenly disperse that. Basically what that levain was, or leaven, was basically like using instant yeast in your bread recipe. So if you ever use instant yeast, this is basically what that is. And so we're doing this so it can disperse evenly, because as you can see, it's like a flour mixture. It's almost like a bread dough already, and so that this will mean that there aren't any weird pockets of just like concentrated yeast cells. And what's cool about this is that when you use a sourdough starter, there's only so many yeasts in that, and then those duplicate. So you get the kind of the same flavor time and time again if you're using the same sourdough starter. And you can make your sourdough starter. I highly recommend looking at Tartine's blog about sourdough, and all the things that you need to know are kind of there. Yeah, it also reminds me that this is actually a Tartine factory bread dough. So they have a really cool bakery, I think in San Francisco, I believe, or it could be in LA, I can't remember. But this bread is amazing. And the longer you let it ferment, like in the fridge, the more sour it gets. Or you can bake it the same day. So I'm going to bake some today for my friends. And then I'm going to bake the other dough that I have going in that tomorrow for my class potluck. So that's why I'm baking this. Yeah. So now that that's all milky, like that seriously just looks like milk, I'm going to add in the flour that I measured out before. Again, this is 1,000 grams total of flour with a 9-to-1 ratio of bread flour to whole wheat flour. See, I'm going to mix this with my hands, but I need both of them, so you'll see when it's all done, and we'll let it rest. Well, there you have it, folks. That's how you make sourdough bread. Just kidding. So, yeah, basically we're going to let this rest for 25 minutes, and what that will do is that'll allow all the flour to absorb as much liquid as it can, and it'll also allow the yeast to start to kind of get to know its new environment, and maybe start eating a little bit, eating the starch and the carbs, and maybe even start to replicate. And you may be wondering, like, Ben, what about the salt? Bread needs salt, or else it's going to taste like flour, and that's gross. Well, don't you worry. We'll be adding the salt in about half an hour. We have to give the yeast time again to know its new surroundings and not get shocked by salt. So if it's in too saline of a solution and the yeast isn't strong enough, then it will all die. Hey everyone, so this is now rested for about half an hour, and we are now going to be adding a saltwater solution of 20 grams of sea salt and 50 grams of water. Adding the water just helps get all the salt evenly distributed, and also gives the dough the final hydration ratio. So this is 50 grams more water than we had before, so it'll be a wetter dough. And you may be used to working with drier doughs, but when you get a wet dough like this, which you'll see in a little bit, you can actually get those really nice irregular holes and a good structure out of it once you finally bake it. Also, doughs tend to get more firm and less wet the longer that they sit and ferment, and that's something that I've learned over time. So I realized that my feet were in the videos before, and I apologize for that. I know it's kind of gross. So I put slippers on. Yeah, I'm in my PJs. Yeah. And I'm now going to attempt to, well, I'm not going to attempt, I'm going to do it. Mix in this water into the dough. It'll take a little bit, so I need both my hands. Alright, so it's been fully incorporated, and as you can see, it's a really wet dough. And I know that seems kind of alarming, but as I said before, it's going to get a little bit less wet and gross and mangly. So yeah, I'm going to cover this with the cloth and add this and that into the warm oven. You don't want it more than 100 degrees, obviously. And also, it's going to be a little bit cooler than that. Between 70 and 80 is perfect. And then we're going to come back to this in half an hour and fold it. And I'll show you a technique that's different than normal kneading. And I really like it. Cool. See you in a little bit. Alright, it's been half an hour, so basically what I'm going to do is go under and then pull it across and rotate and go under and pull it across. Usually I do this with two hands, so it's actually working out pretty well. And then go under and pull it across. And then one last time, so you do it on all four sides of a circle. Because as everyone knows, circles have four sides. And that's it. And we'll do that, let's see, I think 3 or 4 more times. And what this is doing is this is basically stretching the gluten out and giving this more of a shape, and as you can see, it already looks smoother on this side than before I started pulling it. Yeah, so I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, so we're just going to do the same thing again, and I'm going to be doing this every half an hour for about 2 more hours. So you're not going to miss much. I'll just show you once it's all done after the 2 hours. Alright, see ya in about 2 hours. Bye. So since I was doing this one first, I'm just going to show you with this one. I know it's not the same as the other bowl, but basically I'm going to put this out on here and do it into rolls and then cover it for another 20 minutes before placing it in the baskets I have. Alright, bye. Here they all are rolled out, and I'm about to move them to these baskets, which I'll proof for today, and then to these 2 bowls that I'll put in the refrigerator that I'll bake tomorrow. These ones are going to be for my class, these ones are going to be for my friends. Alright, bye. So here they are proofing in the baskets. I'll be back in about 3 or 4 hours to bake these. I'm actually going to go have a drink with my professor and a couple of my friends. So, yeah. I will be back tonight later to bake these up and show you all guys the final product. Super exciting. Unfortunately, since I'm giving these away, I won't be able to cut into them. But, you know, that's just how it goes. Alright, bye. Hi everyone, we're back, and I made a mistake. So, as you can see, this bread dough is has expanded a lot, and it's actually overproofed, unfortunately. However, I'm going to bake it anyways, and just see what happens. Because it's overproofed, I'm not going to score it. I could go into why that is, but I don't really want to. It's basically because it just needs to expand as much as it can, and blah, 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 boring science stuff. Anyways, yeah, I'm going to bake it, and we'll just see how it works out. I mean, I was only really baking one of the loaves for a friend, so the other one I deflated and put back in the fridge with the other 2, and hopefully it'll be inflated enough tomorrow. Alright, let's do this thing. I can already tell y'all it is not going to be good. But it's still going to be bread, so it's not going to be bad. It's just not going to be good either. You win some, you lose some. These are the tragedies of baking. I guess I just had too much fun staying out, drinking with my academic advisor, with other people. So, yeah. Alright folks, so it's been 20 minutes. I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm kind of scared. Well, it looks hideous, but, you know. Oh boy. We'll see how we're going to bake this until it gets a crust, I guess. God. This is probably some of the worst bread I've actually ever made. Oh well. You guys will get to see it. I just won't post it. Maybe there'll be better loaves tomorrow. Well, there you have it, folks. A pretty sad excuse for homemade sourdough bread coming from me. But, you know what? I'll tear it up. Once it's all cool tomorrow, I'll eat it with some really good olive oil, and I'll be good. You know, bread can only be so bad. It actually smells really good. So I'm sure the flavor is good. The texture, sorry, that's my foot again. The texture is probably pretty bad, though. Yeah, I'll cut into it tomorrow, and you guys can see the crumb structure then. And then tomorrow I'll also be baking the other 3 loaves, and those should be a lot better, I hope. I'm staying at home tomorrow, so I won't be able, I'm not going to neglect and overproof anything. I hope. Alright, good night. Hi everyone, I'm back, and I just wanted to show you the crumb structure from that failed bread I made yesterday. As you can see on the bottom, it's very tightly packed holes, and that's kind of around the top as well. But it still looks pretty good to me, actually. I will try it a little bit later, but right now I'm actually preheating the Dutch oven, and I have the other dough that I deflated from yesterday up here. And so I'm going to put that in the oven, and I'll score it, and I'll show you guys once it's all scored what that looks like. Alright, bye. Scored it, and now I'm going to put the top back on and put it in the oven for 25 minutes. Alright folks, we're going to look into it now. Now that is more of a bread. Still not perfect. I cut into it a little bit too much, so you get those ears on there. Obviously, I cut into it a little bit too much. I was a little too excited, I guess. But still pretty good looking. Again, not perfect, but this is going to brown up really nicely. So that's like basically par-baked. Think about buying par-baked bread. It looks like that. Alright, folks. The dough should be done. So let's look at this. Oh yeah, it's a little too dark over there. This will still be really good. Sorry, that was really loud. Yeah, it's a pretty good bread dough. Gosh, everything is so loud. So I'm gonna take this out and cool it, and put this pan with the lid back into the thing, and preheat it to 500 again, so I can do the next bread dough. All right, bye. Alright, here's the last one that I'm going to show you guys today. Now that looks like some good bread. See how it's nice and curved? I did some cool little marks around it to score it. I think it's kind of whistling actually. So yeah, that's a good loaf right there. Alright, come back next time in Ben's Kitchen.